Hello, hello. Hello, hello. I wonder how's the audio levels. We will check it in a hot second. Oh, God damn, can't see anything. Hello, hello. Let's check the audio levels, how it is on Twitch. Seems alright. And how it is on YouTube. Blah 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 blah. 1 2 1 2. Microphone check. Okay, it seems quite alright. Alright, what's up, y'all? How are y'all doing? How's your Sunday going? I didn't get a great night's sleep, I have to be honest, so I feel like I'm after 4 beers or even more, but I just didn't have a good night's sleep. But we will manage through it. The weather right now is quite beautiful where I live. I hope it is the same for y'all. I hope you have a nice Sunday morning, just as I am having. It's a little bit slower, but it's still nice. So I hope we'll get to enjoy today's Sunday morning together. Today's stream, we are coming back to actually making a video game, because it's been quite a time. Let me see by YouTube. What was the last time that I streamed making of the actual game? Let's check. 3 months ago. It was 3 months since the last actual project making stream. And I thought that it's time to come back to it. We were checking out lots of plugins. And yesterday I had a little bit of time to resurrect my old repository, my old Perforce server. And I had to do it because I realized my whole game that I'm making here on stream was made with Unreal 5.4, or the prototypes of it, right? And I wanted to move to 5.6 because there are awesome things in here, like for example, first person FOV rendering, right? Which I want to turn on. I looked at how it was implemented in the new templates, and I picked up a couple of cool ideas that I want to throw into this project, right? And also, of course, there are lots of other plugins, updates, etc. that I want to make use of during making these prototypes. But I couldn't, do it without making a backup first. So I created a backup, and before migrating the project, I sent the backup to my Perforce server that I set up some long time ago. And I got to resurrect it yesterday. And now the project is in 5.6, so I can get back to it. I played it a little bit yesterday to remind myself of what I was doing, if I remember things correctly. And today I wanna touch on 2 specific things. We will see if we will be able to finish the prototypes of them today, or will it go into the next project. And just by the virtue of being inspired yesterday, I also came up with the art style that this game could have. I know we are in the toyboxing phase, when I'm just creating prototypes, throwing them into the sandbox and thinking about what kind of use I could have of it, right? But the previous prototypes and toy boxes and ideas that I've written down kind of gave me a jolt of inspiration of what this game could be. And I'll talk about that in a second. And I also got inspired of like, hey, this is the art style it could have. And I said that I don't want to implement this art style in prototypes at all until I'm satisfied with the gameplay, and that still holds true. But by virtue of me figuring out what kind of art style do I want to have, or I want to attempt at, I figured that maybe I will have another set of streams when I will be on another completely project, another repository. I'll be trying to figure out how I could even achieve that effect that I want to achieve via Unreal Engine tech card. What way I should do it, maybe think a little bit about optimization, about how to do things an optimal way. Like, it will be a complete side thing that I will be figuring out at the same time, because it could be translatable to other projects. So it's just like, you know, knowledge will still be gained, and if this game that I'm making will prove to be fun, and I could, you know, make an hour and a half nice version of it, that the promise of hour and a half version of it would be there, that's where I could start a new repository, the C++ code repository with like proper code, and start, you know, assembling this art style and actually know how to implement it for the game, right? So those will be like two different sides of trying to explore gameplay ideas and art ideas for the project. And what the project is, because it's been so long that no one knows. Or you might be the first comer, or you might kind of forget, etc., etc. Let me just describe it. Right now the game has a code name that is super stupid. It's called Bow and Arrow, because the idea was like, hey, what if I made a game where your only source of interaction with the elements of the game is your arrow, and you have to shoot at things to make interactions happen, and it's going to be a little bit of a puzzle game, right? Puzzle logic game with the elements of shooting, right? But it's not going to be a first-person shooter, even though I'm using first-person template to prototype stuff. It's not going to be about killing enemies, etc. No, it's going to be, and it's not going to be an archery simulation. I would love if there could be a co-op in this game. That would be super lovely. So we will see if I will be able to do that. And yeah, I first created like MVP when I just implemented shooting. This is the bow. That's the idea, to use the shitty art and shitty placeholders just so I can test out ideas, because the statement or the hypothesis is as such: if something gives you a modicum of fun on an acceptable level in bad looking prototype, but gameplay wise it's working, then it means, okay, you got it. Now you gotta make it look awesome, right? But you got it, right? You can play around with it, you can create pacing around it, etc., etc., etc. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. If I know that it is not like business oriented idea, but I'm just doing it just to learn more about game design and things outside of coding that I do on a regular basis at work, right? So that's why this project is kind of weird. Bombs XO, hi Bombs XO, how are you doing? How is this Sunday morning treating you? And Bombs XO asks, so you mean like a platformer game then? There might be some platforming, but not in a way of, you know, regular platforming, third-person platforming. I don't really have a comparison to other existing games. There might be elements of platforming, but you won't have regular movement like in, I don't know, Mario Odyssey or anything like this, right? It will be a weird game. That's what I can tell for sure. But the idea is to explore game design direction of like, hey, the only way of interacting with the world is through your arrows, which is kind of hard and fucked up idea, and you have to rediscover a lot of already open doors, but that's what this exercise is to me. I want to stretch those muscles, I want to learn how to use them, etc. yeah, I want to learn how to use them because I don't do it on the day-to-day basis, and I feel like, you know, if I want to make a game of my own, like the one that I would want to release on Steam at some point, it would be good to have a little bit of intuition towards that, right? Bombs Exo says, I get what you mean. An entirely new game mechanic, so there's not any other game you can use as a comparison. Yeah, I mean, probably at the end or in the middle of it, we might see that, hey, this game is actually super close to some other game, right? But right now, I don't see how it might be similar to other game. Even though for prototypes, I'm using first-person perspective and first-person template in Unreal Engine, because it was just easier that way. The idea is to create prototypes fast, dirty scripts, dirty everything, because I just want to explore a game design idea and evaluate, is it fun or is it not fun? Is there something to it, or I cannot add it to my toy box of game design elements that I could use to, like, you know, create a pacing of a scenario for, you know, like at least 10 minutes, right? It will be, of course, there will be aiming challenges, right? When you have to aim at something at specific distance. I created a charge, maybe let me change the level. Shooting range. I created like the shooting range when I tested, you know, like charging an arrow. Yeah, this is a bow and this is the arrow. This is like some prototype enemy that doesn't really work. And I set up a couple of distances and what kind of challenge, aiming challenge I want out of player. So for example, you know, at 15 meters, no challenge at all. You can just press it and you will always hit it. From 30 meters, you can charge it a little bit and you always hit it. From 75 meters, you get to point your crosshair at the target. Let me just stop that guy for a quick second. Charge it fully and you're supposed to hit it, right? And from 150 meters, not only you have to charge it fully, but, you know, take the curve of the flying projectile into the account in order to hit your object, right? That was one way, but aiming, you know, I want it only to be a part of this game. So let me show you what I mean by that. Flaming. Let me show you a couple of flaming things. Where am I? I'm here. Dexterovsky is here. Hi! Dexterovsky asks, how did you measure this at 75 meters away? Hey, hello! It was before your plugin, but let me tell you, for sure, when I will be setting up the actual, you know, challenges, I will be using your plugin, if I can, of course, right? If you'll allow me to. But yeah, Dexterovsky here shared on my Discord, to which I will post a link quickly. And disable and invite people. Set link to never expire. He created a nice measurement plugin, and I know that there are a couple of those on market already and on GitHub, but I have to say the modes that he created are the most intuitive for me. And I liked it, and he shared it on Discord. I invite you all to check it out on Discord. And yeah, I for sure will be using it here. So when it comes the moment where I will be creating level design for the game, I will be measuring that shit with the Dexterovsky's plugin for sure. Because I had like some shitty actor-based version in here that I created like in 15 minutes or so just to quickly measure something. But his tool is actually quite useful, right? So, yeah, you can aim in this game, as I explained, but also I want to base it on such interactions as this. Like, these are like wooden vines that are burnable, and here is our funny bubble that contains flame. I can shoot at it. It propagates the flame through other vines, and via that you can unlock the doors, you can open up pathways, or I don't know, maybe if something is caged up in like a wooden cage, it will free it, like some sphere that has physics or something, right? Also, let me restart it. I want there to be, there's like a flame propagation in here that once the flame goes on flammable surface, it will try to propagate farther, which is also something that I kind of want to use. And if it falls on non-flammable surface, of course, it dies out, right? There's wind actor that can interact with those bubbles and move them around. There are water bubbles that you can pierce and put end to the flames. And for example, we have like this whole floor of flames, and you get to create your own corridor through which you can pass through in order to get to the other side. You know, so these type of puzzle mechanics. This type of world where if you shoot at something and burst it or move it around, it will react on your arrows. Dexterovsky says, yeah, I must provide you more stable version than that I sent you. Yeah, I would love to see, you know. If you have some updates to check out, I'll gladly check it out. So, what I want to do today, let me grab the player start first and show off the train of thoughts that we had on the last streams when I was doing the game design, and as usual I messed things up and I don't know where my player start is anymore. What in the holy nature is happening? Sometimes I don't like this gizmo. Okay, we'll start from play from here will work, or okay, it works. Okay, so the idea, another idea is that, hey, we have those things that are spawning flame bubbles and we gotta collect those stars. It is locked away behind those wooden thingies, right? And we have a propeller with wind. We can just try to move the propeller around to move those bubbles and try to shoot at it while it is in the preferable position, and it will open everything up for us, right? Nice little interaction. And now I can collect the star that breaks with chaos destructibles, and that's alright. And I started like implementing player start. It would be nice to have you in actually manageable place where I could constantly just press play. Is it possible? I might just write a tool that will just place the player start, move the player start to where I'm pointing at. And what the hell? Yeah, and the idea is that, yeah, I created like a level with a couple of challenges of, hey, there are 6 stars to collect, for example, right? Or a prototype of how I could spice it up a little bit. And the first star to collect has propeller already set up, so you just gotta aim at it correctly. I need to speed up those flames. That's what I need to do, because waiting that long is kinda annoying. And now I can collect the star, and chaos destructibles are at its finest, right? And then I, have a couple of other challenges where I have to rotate this propeller in such way that it will start moving those flame bubbles in such a way that I can actually pierce them and unlock might start to collect. But what happened 3 months ago at some point was like, hey, it's not fun just standing here and trying to, you know, adjust your strength to make the propeller move, flame bubbles, in the direction that you want it, right? It's just straight up not fun. Should I abandon the propeller idea, or do I have to change things around, right? So, at first I just created this path that, hey, maybe you can just, you know, walk around and shoot it from another angle. As you know, unless there's cool movement, it kind of fucking sucks, right? And I had like some prototype from before where I can just aim at a surface and just kind of launch myself from the bow. Whee! Right? This is super funny, so I want to use it in a game, and it pushed me towards the direction that, hey, maybe in this game you'll be, because it kind of reminds me of golfing. Hey, maybe in this game you'll be a sentient golf ball with bow and arrow, which is kind of stupid fucking thing, but you know, maybe. But it quickly turns out that, yeah, to deal with that type of challenge, it's still not exactly fun. A lot of work would need to be done in order to, you know, make it more accurate, predictable. The movement on its own is funny and cool, but the usage of this movement to overcome this challenge, not up to snuff. So there is a easier idea of how to do this propeller. Put the target that I require a player to shoot. That will make the propeller rotate. Actually not on the side of it. So, oh shit. I kind of destroyed myself. I forgot that I had the catapult equipped. And I killed myself again. Yeah, it's not fun when your propeller, oh shit, goes in such unreachable direction and you have to chase it, etc. So I want to move it above so it will always be visible and you can shoot at it from every angle. And because I want this game to be a little bit more casual, I was thinking I need to go back to the idea that instead of making it as such that your charge strength translates to how strongly it will rotate, instead of that idea, because it was, from the player's perspective, it was hard to predict what will be the rotation of the propeller, we will do, you know, just 90 degrees rotations, that's it, and it will be a little bit simpler. So that's one thing that I kind of want to do, fix up this propeller so it was more usable, easier to aim at, etc, etc. So the player has a way more of an understanding how it works and way more of predictability. If I shoot at it, you know, it will do this kind of move, right? And because this game is supposed to be more casual, I was thinking about adding some sort of what's the name of it? Auto-targeting, but gamified, that your arrow will auto-target the bubble, but only if you hold the bubble in like a aiming circle for X amount of time. That's when you will be granted this, right? So for, you know, easy targets, you probably won't even engage with that mechanic, but for those harder to reach, it might be leaning more a little bit into casual side of things, but still require at least you following the target with your reticle on gamepad or on mouse, right? So there will be just a bit challenge to it. I don't know if it will be fun or not. That's why there's this Toyboxing, where I'm just throwing things into the sandbox, toy box, and trying to play around with it, right? So that's the idea for today's stream. Sorry for being a little bit slow-mo today. As I mentioned, I didn't get a good sleep last night. It's still a nice, chill Sunday morning, but, you know, a little bit in a slow-mo mode. And how are y'all feeling? How is your Sunday going? I hope you guys have a nice weather where you live. Alright, let's get back to it. The worst thing that when it comes to like getting back to your project after 3 months is not really remembering how you set up things and then looking at it and being like, why the fuck did I do it like this? And being full of regrets. Dexterovsky says, awful. Your Sunday is awful. Or the weather is awful. I hope it's Sunday that is awful, not your day. Because out of those two, bad weather is easier to deal with, right? Whole fucking life is awful. For non-Polish guys out there, Dexterowski and I are Polish, and that's basically Polish attitude. Like, life's a bitch and then you die. Like Nas said on Illmatic. That's the Polish attitude. I've seen the meme propagate over the internet that the Polish writer for cyberpunk anime said that I'm from Poland. To paraphrase it, I'm from Poland, and here people are born sad, they live sad, and they die sad. So I want to make the world sad. If the people get sad, I am happy. And that's the most fucking Polish thing ever. And it became a meme. Yeah, I had a nice culture shock when I started to like meet people outside of my country. And in the Polish country, I am regarded as kind of a maybe a little bit naive optimist. But for people to the west, I was still being like judged as not that as passionate but not that optimistic. So that's kind of fucking funny. Dexterowski says, yeah, and I think in the game, Cyberpunk, all sad feeling is done perfectly. I'm yet to play Cyberpunk, but in Witcher, which I finished and played, all of the DLCs, same shit. So, to all people out there that feel sad and kind of want to get into, I don't know, a book or a video game or something that will kind of help them stay in that feeling to deal with it for a bit and get strength of it, from dealing with it, I recommend Polish art in general. We deal a lot with this kind of shit. Nexterovsky says, you didn't play Cyberpunk? No, not yet. The RPGs, I have to plan like ahead with like, okay, this portion of my life will be dedicated to this video game and this video game only, and I have to make like a time schedule for that because I don't have a lot of free time to play. And when I play RPGs, I don't like to take pauses in between play sessions. I don't know if it makes sense. Like, I like to get completely engrossed within the world that I'm exploring right now. So if, for example, I'll play it for 4 hours and then the next time I can play it is like in 2 weeks for 30 minutes, I'd rather not play and push the playing even further away so I could instead have regular sessions, you know, and do that. Dexterowski says, so turn off this fucking engine and play the Cyberpunk right now. This is must play option. Maybe I might do some game streaming at some point, but you know, I get what you mean. I want to play it for sure. In the same way, I want to play Baldur's Gate 3 because everyone is so raving about that. Like, but I'll be honest, that's a nice thing about putting some games in time. Because then when the lull happens, and that it always happens within video game industry, where I don't know, for half a year or even the whole year there are releases that are just not interesting to you, you have those bangers to come back to, and that's where everything explodes. I had a couple of games that I explored lately, way later than they got released in my life, and it was an amazing feeling. Amazing feeling. And also I am what Reddit describes as patient gamer, so sometimes I'm, putting something off and then getting so much joy out of it. And Dexterowski, did you watch the anime, the Cyberpunk Edge Runners, if I remember correctly? Someone recommended to me that before playing the video game, it would be a good idea to watch the anime first. That it kinda gets you hyped and explains a couple of things about the world, and then when you get into the world, it's even more of a joy. Would you agree with that if you watched the Edge Runners? Meanwhile, I will try to remember how I did this propeller. Propeller charge. I had 3 propellers. Base, bound angle, and charge. I even commented it nicely. Thank you, past Ado. Dexterowski says, but to be honest, Cyberpunk 2077 is a very good game for streaming because people who even finished it would love to see how other people are making decisions and taking gameplay routes, including me. I'll take that into consideration. I'll take that. I'll take that. Maybe if, I will feel like, okay, I have no inspiration for making a development stream today, maybe I will just boot up Cyberpunk and play a little bit. On the other hand, I know that my partner wanted to play this game with me, and I wonder if she will be pissed that instead of playing it with her, I will be playing it with yo. Oh, that's a discussion. Oh. She can always watch the stream, right? That's funny. Dexterowski says, no, I didn't watch Edge Runners. Oh, okay. I might just do that. Watch the anime and then play the video game, and we'll see how that will work. If the, how is it called? Copyrights were in the bitch, I might watch it on stream, but, they would strike down this whole thing to the oblivion. Dexterowski says, so play with the partner. It will be more fun, I think, then. Yeah. Yeah, it might be, but I don't know. Like, we'll see. We'll see. But I have to plan ahead. For Cyberpunk, I know that this is a long-ass RPG, and I want to play, if not all, most of the side quests, etc., etc. Completely engross myself in it. Okay, how the hell did I build it? Because the way it needs to be changed is basically this whole thing needs to be deleted. This target needs to be above this thing. And if you hit it, it just rotates clockwise or counterclockwise, I don't give a damn. 90 degrees. So the question is, as usual, do I change the base class of it and potentially fuck up all my previous things or previous implementations? Or how do I do it? I might just create this thing from scratch, just not to fuck it up in here, because I might just use it in a completely different fashion. So I might just do like a copy of it and just start messing with the copy of it. Yeah, that might be the safer option. But you know what happens at the day job if something like that happens? You ship a game with those game files of prototypes that you abandoned and people find them, or there's a clutter, people don't know which is actually a real thing, and that's like the whole situation to manage then. But I'm, you know, a single developer in here on this project, so, and from the get-go the idea was that this is a trash repository, this is a trash thing just to figure the gameplay ideas, then start everything from scratch, knowing already what I want to achieve, right? Dexterovsky says, and regarding the copyright things, I recently was doing stream on my second channel. I had music in the background. YouTube blocked my whole stream in the middle. Similar thing happened to me, if you recall, and that's what I was doing, like beat generator and meta sounds. I should get back to it. So those motherfuckers can't copyright me. And they copyrighted my own beats, so it was like, how the fuck can you do it? These are mine. Fuck off, right? But I don't have money to fight against giant systems, so I'd rather figure out making procedural music on the fly, right? Well, that's fucked up that it happened to you. That's fucked up. Of course YouTube blocked it, because they're crazy about those copyrights. I completely disagree with the way that it is being handled. That's fucked up. And so did you restart the stream with no music in the background, or did you realize only after the stream finished? How did it show up for you? How did you handle this situation? Because that situation is completely fucked up. Okay, let's duplicate it. Let's call it, this is a propeller, but the difference between that and the other one is that it is always reachable. So maybe propeller reachable. That's an awful name. And I don't want to call it propeller 360 because I will get copyrighted by Microsoft. No. Because it might create a false idea that, oh, it rotates 360 degrees. No, it rotates 90 degrees, but it is accessible from 360 degrees. So propeller reachable base. Dexterovsky answers about the music in the background on his stream and blocking. I had to turn off the music, and then they allowed the stream again. I didn't have to restart the stream or something. And also on this main channel, I got on video age restriction because of sex and nudity. What did you put there? And they provided timestamp when I was heavily breathing after some bike downhill trail riding. Damn, that you must got some freaking titillating heavy breath if YouTube thought that it was, you know, some porn. Oh. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. That's so stupid. That this kind of thing gets flagged and gets age restrictions. Meanwhile, we all know what kind of shit is on YouTube that is not age restricted and probably should be. Not from Puritan perspective, but from like human perspective. That's so stupid. Alright, we have our propeller. Do we have any interface on this? I don't remember. No interface, no BPA arrow target hit. That's what I have. Debug print arrow hit info. Nice. That's something that I'm bound angles, vectors in space. I don't remember anything about that. Okay, so the idea here is that we have on arrow hit confirmed. And it turns on ticking, right? So rotating movement via rotating component. The one that is default in Unreal Engine starts. We have a couple of methods. Oh, so I already implemented the bound angle so it could turn 90 degrees. Bound angle. It gets the new direction. Get new rotation direction. Wait. Ah, okay. And then it resets the rotation. No. It just goes in here, does some calculation. And then in tick we are actually rotating things. Until the dot product of it is correct. Okay. The only thing that is different in here is, I guess, I was taking to the account the side of the mesh that you are hitting, or the normal of it. So if you hit it from one side of it, it will rotate one way, and if you hit it from another side, it will rotate the other way, which for this kind of look is cool, but I'm changing a whole lot of it. And how do I do the differentiation between what I hit? That's interesting. Is this the only thing that has collision? Block all dynamic, and that also has all block dynamic. Everything has all block dynamic, so I can just hit the whole fucking thing, right? Event on arrow hit confirmed. I don't really check if I hit only the part that I wanted it to be. And add rotation speed. Oh, I do a lot of things in here. Alright. But first things first, I am changing everything. So I would probably destroy the whole thing, or maybe wait. Let's just edit it. Rotate it around y-axis 90 degrees. And let's just move it like here and here. And this target, no, I want to change it into a box, so the cube. So it will be more just red. Like, understood that, hey, just click this, shoot this fucking thing, and it will start rotating. I also need to add like baseline visual and audio cues to hit the satisfaction in your brain, because that's sometimes it's obvious, of course, right? But it needs to be said that sometimes the difference between a prototype that works and prototype that doesn't work is just the fact that you have a sound cue and a visual cue to it, right? That you did something cool and you get on screen and in speakers confirmation that you just did something cool, right? Or you did something that was required of you. That's how our brain works. That's how they derive meaning out of things. So, yeah. I remember this famous anecdote. Probably every company had it, where the feedback was, while I was, I think, at Hogs, Flying Wild Hogs, the feedback was, this shotgun is not strong enough. And the gameplay programmer that was in charge of it was like, that's bullshit. It is strong enough. We worked with the game designer. It's balanced properly. Let's boost. Just take the wave file and boost the bass. Boost the fuck out of the bass frequencies on the shotgun, right? And a little bit of mid-range, right? Let's just boost that. And just submit it on the repository with the description of like increased damage of shotgun, right? The playtests were going, and then they received the feedback of, oh yeah, now the shotgun hits harder, it deals more damage, which of course was bullshit, but it proved the point of the gameplay programmer that no, the shotgun was working fine, it was the audio cue that was lacking a little bit, right? And then he unveiled his trickery, and they were like, oh, okay. And they taken it into the account, and they just changed the sample. But it goes to show that we can be tricked with visuals and audio cues amazingly, and we should use that. So this cube, let's name it hits target, whatever. And I want to only react if the component that was hit was actually hit target. So let me change. I don't know what kind of mathematics are here. Let me just delete all of it because I still have the base version of it, so I can always look up like, what the fuck I was doing. And here. Oh yeah, I wanted to share the update. Like, Dexterovsky, you've been talking about Gemini Pro. I kinda checked it out, and it is way better, but with couple of things, it kinda disappointed me. I mean, when prompted about Unreal Engine things, it was doing like, okay things, right? Answering correctly, etc., producing code that, is a nice basis for shit, right? But what always annoys me about AI is when I ask the question that sometimes I'm asking it and it completely fails. Like, I was organizing a birthday party and I kind of didn't have time to search through the internet for a couple of locations. I asked it like, hey, could you recommend me a location in that city with this kind of features that I want within this price range? And I thought that if this is Google's AI, that it might have access to like Google Maps or whatever. And it proposed me a list of places that either didn't exist or are closed since 2018. And I was like, thank you. So, that's kind of funny. That when I asked it about some gameplay ability stuff inside Unreal Engine and how I could initialize something because I wanted to check if it is doing it in the correct way, it provided a nice code, and I asked it about places to go to. It completely hallucinated and provided me wrong information. I so much want to have AI personal assistant. My little personal Jarvis. Alright, debug print arrow hit info seems like I want to have it. But before I enable any fucking thing, break. I'm surprised that I didn't do it 3 months ago or a couple of months ago. And yeah, I want to see if hit component is this. because if it isn't, I don't give a fuck. Right? I only want this to react if actual hit target was hit. Yeah, and then we have tick with all the rotations and shit. Let me like clean this up nicely. What is this? Update blades. Oh, that one I wanna leave. Blades cosmetic rotation. Yeah, let's leave that. That works nicely. It gives a feedback. That's cool. Blah blah blah. Blee blee blee. Debug print arrow. Initialize bound angles vectors. Ah, I think I remember what it was doing. That at the beginning it was like taking the local space front, backward, left, right vectors, saving it in the world space transform, and that's when I was doing the dot. I didn't have to constantly translate things from world space to local space. I'm gesticulating a lot instead of like drawing in paint as I was supposed to. But yeah, the idea was I will play a little bit with memory because I will have like the vector with 4 array of vectors, and I will just be doing the dot operation on them. But I'm not sure if I want to do it that way anymore. So yeah. So yeah, let's delete it. I can always bring it back. Update propeller cosmetic rotation. That shit stays. Stop rotation. That thing can stay. And why am I using rotating movement actually? Don't remember why I used that instead of like doing something on my own. Maybe I just wanted to try it because I never really interfaced with it. Ah, who cares? Ah, yeah, they have constraints. They have lots of additional stuff. Well, that's nice. That's nice. But since I want to just move it 90 degrees, I'm not sure if I would be using it. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, reset rotation speed, blah blah, lots of variables. The best thing about coming back to a project, you can delete the things and not care about it for a hot second. Reset rotation speed. I kind of want to have rotation only occurring one way, regardless of how you hit the cube, because it's just a freaking cube. I might do like a little animation of it, like whip, whip, resizing or something on the timeline when you hit it. That might be a nice feedback with like a little ding sound or whatever. Yeah. Okay, but maybe first let's figure out, because that shit will be easy, let's do the 90 degree rotation all the time. Clockwise or counterclockwise, who cares? So yeah, rotating movement. I'm not sure if this whole thing is needed anymore. Let's delete it. This rotation is cool. Delta time, yeah. Time, speed in degrees, yeah. And then add to local rotation. This isn't needed, so I can delete that. I can delete that. Ah, that's a wonderful feeling. Deleting old shit. Blade rotation stays. Arrow hit moment forward and world space. I'm not sure if I use it at all. No. Auto charged rotation speed. Ah, yeah, I remember. This was connected to the idea that the rotation angle will be translated from arrow change. We're not doing that anymore because it turned to be not as fun of an idea. It was actually quite frustration. Rotation direction will be one way only. Who the hell is using it? Find references by name. Reset rotation speed. Go to hell. And I'm not sure that whole event is needed. Blades rotation speed in degrees. That's base rotation speed degrees per second. That might be needed. Air drag. I'm not sure if we will be needing it anymore. Add rotation speed. I'm not sure if that is needed because I want to have a constant speed. Yeah, okay, so we cleaned this shit up nicely and we only left thing that is like truly needed. Wonderful feeling, cleaning up. Now let's actually get into implementation. So I only wanted to rotate 90 degrees. And actually, I don't want to rotate the whole actor, right? I just want to rotate maybe this, and I could connect some visual to it so we could see that it is moving. So yeah, I might just duplicate this and put it back where it was, which is kind of funny. Ah, no. Get back in here, you Dumbo. And Dexterovsky, what were you streaming on your second channel? I'll be honest, I haven't been on YouTube for last couple of weeks, so I might have missed any announcements on your channel. I completely know, like I've been getting into it like only today morning where I kinda couldn't sleep. I saw that there's some drama with pirate software, but I couldn't care too much about this. What were you streaming? Were you streaming the game development? That would be awesome. Okay, so I have this visual that it is rotating, and we could add kind of like those wind direction metal thingies. I might add like a little something to it. That is completely stupid, but you know, bear with me for a second. Like rotate a little bit. Yeah, this type of thing. And yeah, here's a gizmo for 3D world space. Okay, now we have it. A super dirty and ugly freaking thing. But okay, now let's organize that. Where the hell is that? Here's this, and here are our three static meshes. Let's connect it to the face. So we will be only rotating the face. Dexterovsky answers about what he streamed. In the beginning, I was streaming just playing the games like old Tomb Raiders. Ah, yeah, I remember us talking about that. But recently I tried GameDev, but in Polish. Nice. And surprisingly, this stream was the most viewed. Oh, that's cool. That's hella cool. I also uploaded some shorts on TikTok and also hit at almost 13k views. Nice, nice, bro. Nice. Cheers. Gratulacje. Nice, nice. What were the most common questions your viewers were asking you? Were they like people that also developed some things as a hobby or something, or how was it on your side? Or were they just interested in, you know, and how you are developing stuff? Dexterovsky says with the caps lock. Why are you working in food delivery instead of game dev? Well, because it probably pays better. Oh, my heart. Okay, so that's what they were asking you. All right. Probably tiresome question. Okay, so we changed the visuals. Now let's go into the rotation thingy. What the fuck happened? Could not find the function named reset. Ah. But is this a reason not to show me the visuals? The Unreal said, hey, I cannot show you blueprint visuals because those two not used functions are not there anymore. But on the one hand, it kind of forced me to quickly deal with it. So maybe that's genius. Actually, that it kind of, oh, you have no visuals. Fix your fucking blueprint. It is quite smart. All right, so I'm not sure if I need anything too complicated. Let me just start rotating it and stop until it reaches 90 degrees from yeah, I can just do it in the local space and just pay with the processing instead of like creating. I don't know what fucking thing I had in my mind when I was creating this array of vectors. Why was I thinking that it was cool? Past me. Dexterovsky says, people can understand one thing. I just like the food delivery job. I like doing it. And game dev is my hobby. If I would start game dev as a job, it no longer will be a hobby and it will not be fun anymore. Yeah, that's something that is hard to understand for most people, that you like the job that you have, so why you should change it, right? And the job that is sometimes co-vetted over the internet, like game development, it might seem hard. Why you just not switch your life to game development, right? But the same shit can be said about music, right? If someone makes a music on the side, they are asking like, dude, why don't you do it the full time? Well, maybe because I like my job and I want to do it as a hobby, because that way I'm free and I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not bound by any investor or anything, right? And I still like my day job, right? So turning this shit around might actually destroy your hobby, right? And if you like your job and you are satisfied with the pay, etc., why would you change it? Most people hate their jobs. So if someone has that, if you have that, don't fucking let go, right? That's like, you know, salvation for your soul if you like your job. Dexterovsky says, simple example. I loved to make videos and edit them. Now I hate it. Exactly, right? And also there's this preconceived notion that being a video game developer on the day job, kind of like me, is kind of like a rock star, being rock star of programming or whatever, right? And it is not. And I think you really have to be super passionate about making video games to almost unreasonable levels to have it as a day job and not burn out. There are lots of people that are coming into this job and after a couple of years they are leaving for a completely another industry because certain situations kind of require you to love this industry unconditionally, otherwise you are quitting, right? which kind of sucks, but that's the reality of it right now. Maybe in the future it will improve, but that's kind of the reality of it. So game dev as a hobby, fucking perfect thing. Game dev as a job, might destroy your hobby if you know you don't want it. If I don't know how to say it the best. If it being a job and having restrictions and certain situations might burn you out, right? Yeah, back in my music making days, I was thinking that if I could make money with music, I would be happiest person ever. Then I did the first ever gig and I was like, oh no, I'm the saddest person ever. Because now I have a director that tells me exactly what he wants, and that's not how I like to make music. That's just how it is, right? Okay. Because I'm talking bullshit and I'm supposed to just be rotating. Actually, yeah, I can work with the updates. Let's work with the updates. And what I mean by that, I will be activating and deactivating things depending on whether the rotation is complete or I just found another consideration. What if I hit the propeller 3 times in a row? Does it mean that I should rotate 3 times 90 degrees, or one just finishes rotations and waits for another shot at it? I think it should accumulate how many turns it should do. Sounds nice. And another question was like, how did you learn Unreal Engine? How long you was learning game dev? Yes, these are regular questions. But usually the answer is like, I just started doing it and learned along the way. How were you answering this question, Dexterovsky? My answer would be I had to learn Unreal Engine because otherwise I would have no money. So that's a great motivator. Okay, so first of all, oh my god, I am such on slow-mo today. Set tick. Seductor tick enabled. And yeah, I had the event for that, but custom events. I can write also, it turns out. Finished all rotations. But also, I need to take into the consideration that if you fire 10 arrows in the row at the thing and it will just be doing 10 rotations until it stops, it also is kind of fucked up. So maybe we will only remember 4 rotations to get like the full 360 and that's it. Then you have to fire at it once again. Dexterovsky said, same, I started doing it and I try to tell people the worst thing about it is to already start doing this. Also warn them about paid courses, of course, especially from YouTubers. Good job. Great. Spread awareness. But yeah, I agree. 100%. There are a couple of YouTubers that are probably having great courses showing off things, and maybe they are worth your money. But I'm not sure how small percentage of that is. You might be better off just going head first and trying to figure shit out. And then typing specific questions into Google or whatever to find the answer. Okay, so the way I will be working with that, yeah, right now I'm thinking less about how I will rotate it mathematically, etc., because that's kinda not that hard. More I'm thinking about right now what would be fun for the player, and I think maximum amount of turns is something that I wanna have. Dexterovsky says, yeah, I think this is the best method to learn anything. Yeah, I think so. It's nice to have a teacher, tutor, a personal mentor. That's the best situation, but in most skills you won't be able to have that. So you gotta figure shit out on your own. Okay. But maybe let's... Yeah, I'm always scatterbrained when I'm doing shit like this, because I'm already trying to anticipate what changes do I need, instead of slowing down and implementing one thing, then changing it, then changing it. But sometimes I found in my day job practice that sometimes allowing myself to be a little bit scatterbrained and trying to foresee what I might need in the future and what might be great for the player pays off, because then actually editing this shit might become easier. But that's my personal taste. I talked with other programmers and they said like, no, actually I'm the other way around. I have way better results when I don't do this shit and I concentrate. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So everyone has a little bit different style of figuring out solutions that in the end are very similar on paper. So when you hit it, we are enabling tick. On the tick, we'll be just taking the base, add local rotation. Let's of course split the struct, and we are rotating around. I'm always fucking this up. Yeah, z-axis of course, z-axis, and it will be base rotation speed degrees per second, delta seconds multiply, bang, 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 and we'll be just rotating after we hit that, right? We can test this out quickly. Where the hell do I have the player start? Yeah. Let's just put it in here. Oh, it's already rotating. Oh, but I kind of forgot that the child actor is in... And... yeah, I have to actually build this shit. Alright. Who would have thought? The propeller blades are also under the face. Hit target is not under the face. And the child actor is under the face. Now it will be properly rotating as we thought. Yep. Great. Now let's implement that it will be 90 degrees. Do you guys, I wanted to ask you, because I wanted to see if I'm alone with this, sometimes have, or it is straight up impossible, like for me, remember a couple of simple mathematics, not even equations, but values? Because even though I have, like, I don't know, master engineering degree, etc., and people assume that I'm amazing with math, I'm not. There are a couple of things that my brain just cannot remember for the life of me, even though I used it like 10,000 fucking times. One of those things are dot product values, with angles, and I always have to Google it because I just always am like, wait, what was what? And it doesn't matter that I know how to calculate dot product and I understand everything about it. It's just that simple fact that I cannot remember couple of numbers. I have a hard time, and those are like couple of specific things. Like the same with like, and I always had it since being a child. Like when it comes to like multiplication table, I have like couple of numbers that my brain just is like, nope, I won't remember that ever. Fuck you. You will remember this, this, and that. You will always be stopping and not remembering. And I don't know why my brain does that. But I was wondering if you guys have similar things happening in your life, that there's a domain that you are quite well versed in, but there are a couple of things that just your brain tells you, no, I won't retain this information. Fuck you. Because that's how it is for me with dot product, for example, right? I always have to be like, wait, when is 1 and 0? And I think I made myself a little note to remember it. But I'm wondering if you guys have the same thing. And I remember being judged heavily by other engineers by that. How can you not remember? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. My brain always been like that. All right, so set actor tick enabled. That's great. On begin play. Can I just? I don't remember. Can I just not start enabled? Start with tick enabled. Great. I wonder if we will get to the second thing that I wanted, to the auto targeting today. Wait, what the hell? I clicked that. It was for child actor, and I wanted to do that. Okay. And it enables, yeah. Dexterski says, when it's 1 and 0. I have similar thing, but I'm just bad at math. Maybe this is a thing. Yeah, I have one of my, if not the best friend in my life. He always says that he's more into humanities. He is more of a like person interested in literature, history, etc., and he's bad at math. And I always told him that it is bullshit, because when it comes to calculating money, he could calculate percentages so much quicker. I think he can calculate it quicker than I could type it into the fucking calculator. And whatever amount, like you could, multiply accumulative percentages, etc., obligations, weird as fucking financial things, and he'll be like, oh yeah, it's this amount of money, and I'm like, damn, you're good with money. But then you ask him about the same thing without, dollars or zlotys at the end of it, and suddenly he's like, no, I cannot do it. It's funny that the brain can work like this, right? Kinda like in The Office, when the guy, what was his name, Kevin, was able to calculate things in donuts, but not in the regular currency. Dostoevsky says, what? Yeah. So, when the arrow hit is confirmed, I want to first see if this is my target, and then I want to see if it's supposed to be an integer. It can be a regular integer, not 64. Current. Yeah, let's do it in the simple way. Let's just count it. Count it. If count rotation count is over or equal max rotations possible, of course, which will be 4. Let's just freaking branch it. Dexterovsky says, so maybe I am good at math, but I must assign some currency to numbers. Maybe. Maybe I also need to find that stuff. That's when maybe my brain will finally remember. Ah, yes, this thing in multiplication table that I told you I will never remember. If you count it in, I don't know, carrots, I will remember it. I'm like, oh man, fuck you, brain. The other way around. If it is smaller than max rotation possible. Yeah, right now I'm just thinking, do I really want to deal with like counting IDs, etc.? Or just calculate it's just stupid bullshit details. Whatever. I think I'm concentrating on it way too much. Yeah, I think maybe I'm going about it wrong a little bit. Let's delete that. And let's just assign the final rotation, which is like desired final rotation angle, and we'll be adding 90 degrees to it until we hit 360, and that's it, right? And it will be a float, because I don't want to deal with like I'm in rotation 2 or 3 or whatever. Nah, it's like until you reach 360 or just 0, then to the original shit, then you're great. But I might need a little bit of break to make myself another tea, etc. I wanted to buy myself like some lemonade, but Żabka is closed, so it means like a tragedy. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. So I need a quick break, and I'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes. See you soon. I'm back. I hope y'all alright. Is my stream working? Ah, yeah, it is. It is. Okay. Alright. So, to finish, the stunk is rotating. We need to see. And remember if we are actually currently rotating or not. Right? Get is rotating first of all. But actually, scratch that. We don't need that. We know that we are rotating if the tick is enabled. If it is not enabled, then we are not rotating. We can just check for that shit, right? So get actor tick is actor tick enabled. That's what I wanted. Right? And if it is not, then enable it. Then maybe let's remember current rotation. We don't even need to deal with like forward vectors or anything like that, because we are only rotating the face and the Z and the yaw axis. So we can just remember what is our current position of it, and that's kind of fucking it, I think. So get rotation, get relative rotation. I think that's kind of what we want to have. We want to split the struct, and we want to make a variable, promote to variable. Let's call it the rotation starting yaw angle, right? That's what we need. And we need the final rotation yaw angle, or desired rotation yaw angle. It should be a float, which we will value range from 0 to 360, of course. And I'm not sure if it works like that. What? Wait, guys. Quick sanity check. Were units always there? And I just never used them? Or is it something new? Because wow, I can just put degrees in there and then... But it means nothing, like... No, I thought that maybe it adds it to the name or something, but it's a whole bunch of nothing. It only shows the but it shows it here. So if I go into class defaults, it just shows it in here. Huh. I wonder if it was always since Unreal Engine 4 and only now I realized it, which would be funny. Okay. But let's get back to this shit. Yeah, we have a desired rotation angle, which yeah, now we should do something like this. Desired final rotation angle plus additional 90 degrees. First, we need to check whether this will be, if it is less than 360, right? Then just don't add it. And just freaking do nothing and just wait until all of it gets finished, right? But if it is smaller than that, then just at the 90 degrees. If it is still smaller than this, but of course, clamp it. Clamp angle 360. And what is the difference between that? Actually, I can just do clamp float in this and 360. Actually, I don't think I have to do the branch. I can just add it and clamp it. That's it. I don't have to do this. That's kind of fucking funny. Realization. Because whatever I'll be adding, this will be the maximum rotation anyway. We can only do the full 360 before. So if you spam like 10 arrows at it, it will just do a 360, right? Because we cannot... I don't think it would suck if I would allow it after shooting 10 arrows accidentally or something. Your younger sibling will grab the pad and start mashing it, and then you will have to wait until it stops rotating. That would suck, right? Or if some other enemy accidentally hit it or whatever, right, with his arrow, if I will have such enemies, yeah, let's restrict it in such way. Yeah, and that's kind of it. On tick, we are adding local rotation, and then we are checking if we can just check, like, did our relative rotation is bigger or equal than desired final rotation? If it is, then I want to clap it to the full angle, right? So it suddenly won't be like 90.6 or 92 degrees. I really want it to be super strict. So after the move is finished, so we, cross over the desired final rotation, which is exactly what will happen. I want it to immediately snap back to the proper 90 or 180 or 270 or 0 your rotation, right? But here's the tricky part. The 360 is the same as 0 rotation, right? So here it will cross over to 0 actually, I think, right? Or will it be going, let's see, because I don't quite remember. Viewport, let's grab the face, and what happens if I punch in 600? No, it will be 600, okay. So we can clamp it like that and it will be alright. Whoa, I lost myself in here. Okay. So now what we need to do is, after we kind of crossed over, it's still way too hot. We need to clamp it to either 90 or 270 or 180 or 360, right? I would say I can just quickly do 4 checks of it's nearly equal 90, it's nearly equal 0, it's nearly equal, yeah, just simple 4 checks and we're done with it, right? Yeah. Let's not think too much about that stupid shit. So is nearly equal zero tolerance of like, I don't know, fucking 6 degrees. Wait, what the fuck is this? VM function? Is it even for blueprints? Rig VM function? It is from control rig. What the hell? Equal. Wait, hold up. We don't have nearly equal function here? Nearly, there is. Oof, I was scared for a second that such basic function is not there. Okay, so error tolerance is like 6 degrees with 0. Then just freaking set local, set relative local, set relative rotation, split struct into this exactly, right? And we just have to copy and paste it a couple of times. Maybe there is like a quicker way of doing it, but I cannot be bothered on today's slow-mo brain to think of anything else, right? So basically it's like then 90 right. So we are doing 90 and so on and so forth. What is this? Finished all rotations. Yeah, I could call this event and then maybe let out like a sound that, hey, it's finished moving, right? All right, I don't want to move it even further. Let me go like this. Now nearly 180 with the big error tolerance, because let's account for frame drops and other bullshit, right? Then set it to 180. Just brute force the shit out of this whole thing, right? Reroute loop branch once again. The rotation, blah blah blah, through 170. I am probably brain farting hard right now, but I'm also had like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, so. So yeah. I'm not ashamed of anything. Let's try to be less judgmental. Branch. Yeah, and that's not what I wanted to grab. And let me grab, and if it's around 360, then set it as 0 as well. So we won't go overboard with it. And yeah, and every other case, or I should just be like, hey, every other case is just set it as 0 and that's it. If something fucked up and we have some weird value that is none of the values of full 90 degrees rotation of the quarters of the circle, then fuck it, let's just reset it to 0, because we have no idea what is happening, right? Yeah. And after you did all of this, let's call finished all rotations. And we will stop ticking, and it should work as doctor's ordered. So like this, and this. And here we will call set actor tick enabled as false, and it should stop rotating. I hope it works. If not, we will debug what the fuck I just messed up. I definitely messed things up. Oh my god. Okay, first thing, it snapped back to 0, even though it was at 90 degrees actually. And then the next one is just doing it ad infinitum. Maybe it is because I didn't reset the desired final rotation angle to 0. That might be something with it. So it tries to chase the desired final rotation plus 90 degrees, etc, etc. Okay, but I hit it only once and it kinda decided after hitting the desired rotation angle, it went into 0, 0 instead of into 90 degrees. I wonder why. I wonder which pit stop here I had hit after one hit. Let's see. Desired rotation yaw angle is 0? How? It is interesting. Because, yeah, desired is 90. Rotation starting is this. Wait, desired rotation yaw angle. And what is this? Desired final. Oh! I think I fucked up a couple of variables. That's part of being on a slow-mo after a bad night. Okay, let's look at it really clearly. Desired final rotation angle is what I want to hit. That desired final rotation is what I should. I don't even remember what desired rotation yaw angle was. So, yeah, now it should work. I just hooked up a bad variable that I don't even remember what I wanted out of. Typical shit for me. But at least it's quick to find desired final rotation. No, wait. No, wait, it was... Yeah, it was correct. It's okay. I messed up something else. I will explain in a second. After I'm rotating, I kinda should have, instead of desired final rotation angle and checking that, or I should say I should... Yes, I want to delete that, and I should constantly compare actual rotation right now. I had a brain fart and I thought that I'm saving it into a variable, which I also kinda don't need to do. Yeah, now it should work alright. I can even turn off the breakpoint. Yep, and it sets up correctly. Yeah, a quick stupid brain fart, sorry for that. Blame it on me and my 3 hours of sleep bad night. But that shit still doesn't work because I... Okay, what is happening? We're hitting that. We're hitting the target. As actor tick enable false, we're enabling it. Rotation starting your angle. Actually, I don't know why would I need it. I kind of forgot. Ah, because we are at the 90. Yeah, I forgot it. When we are starting, yes, we need to add this. And actually, yeah, I kind of messed it up. Yeah. Sorry. Once again, on the logical side, if we are already rotating, which means actor is enabled, then we are adding 90 degrees to the desired final location. But if we are just starting, we are taking our rotation starting yaw angle. Actually, I might not need a variable for it. I can just have that. I don't need rotation starting yaw angle because I already have that. So I can just do that. Take that shit for me and that's it. And then just add to it. Add to the desired final rotation angle. It should work right now. Ah, no. And I messed up. What else did my sleepy brain did today? What is going on? And how the hell are you not crossing over to here? How am I? What the flying fuck is happening? Okay, after first hit, let me debug it. We're like that, right? And what happens after second hit? This is my biggest time waster ever and always in game development. I'll do a stupid little mistake and then I'm like, okay, what the fuck is wrong with me? But let's not be self-haters. Let's not be too Polish today. And actor tick is not enabled. It's enabling it. Yaw is 90. Add 90 to it. You should get 180. Exactly. You should get 180. And how the fuck do you not get in here? Desired final rotation angle is that. How do you not? That is fascinating. Because how do you not cross over 180? What the hell? Let me just print string this shit. What the hell are you doing here? Dexterovsky says, I'm trying second day to get hands IK working. Every tutorial which shows how to do it makes it perfectly, but when I do it on my end, it is fucked up as always. Unfortunately, reality of tutorials and shit. Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't worked with hand IKs on the day job. I know that, yeah, our animators and programmer that was helping out also spend a lot of time setting things up. So Yeah, that's not easy to set up those IKs. Do I remember what kind of most common causes were? Do I remember this shit from stand-ups? I remember that some space translations might have been incorrect, that things were in local space or hand space, but they were calculated in the world space or something like that. So I might look at that. Yeah, that's kind of all I remember about that. Are you doing it with Dexterovsky with control rig or just in anim blueprint? Shapank Moima, hey! I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. If I'm mistaken, I'm sorry. Shapank Moima asks, hey, hi! How are you learning? Hey, are you learning from scratch? When it comes to game design, kinda yes. When it comes to Unreal, no. On the day job, I work as a gameplay programmer. These streams are meant to, like explore things outside of my regular day-to-day curriculum. So I wouldn't say I'm learning from scratch when it comes about Unreal all in all, but I'm not an expert in blueprints. I deal more with the C++ side of things. So oftentimes in blueprints, I am like, okay, what the hell is going on in here? Dexterovsky says yes, and this is probably the issue because my location after translating it into bone space is getting unstable. Oh yeah, so it might be like wrong space problem. I wish kinda like there was an easier way to debug this kind of problems. Because usually you have to just debug render and debug print things on the on screen to realize, wait, it's not in the same position, there's an offset, and it's not that easy to debug. Dexterovsky says, and I'm doing it in animation blueprint. Okay, by fabric node, but with two bone IK node is the same result. Okay, so probably the input data that goes into IK is a little bit iffy. So that's what I would try to debug. Like, what's wrong with the input data? Or maybe something wrong with the node, some setup of the node. Yeah, like IKs can be a bitch sometimes. Shapang Moima, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. I'm really sorry. I am Polish and I have thick Polish accent. Sorry for that. I see. And how would you direct someone who wants to get to know? I have software dev expert in JavaScript, more web focused. It depends. Like, are you okay with getting down and dirty with C++, or do you just want to, take a peek with the Unreal Engine and starting from scratch? When it comes to that, I would try to probably open up one of the templates that Unreal right now has, because they are simpler than the example projects. Look at how things are being built there. For example, what is player controller, how you go from pressing a button on a mouse to something actually happening on screen. And I would try to analyze those blueprints and maybe change like a small functionality in there. Like, for example, try to what I would do at the beginning with such example. Maybe create a new actor and make it react on being shot in a way. For example, it disappears, get destroyed, right? It seems, like a task that at the beginning will, challenge you with a couple of things. Then you can make it so that it changes color. Yeah, but I would start with, for example, first-person shooter template and look at how things are being set up there. You might, look at how blueprint scripting works. Is it to your liking or not? Chapang Moima says, yes, I did CPP back in varsity, but most tutorials are in BP, so I'm always confused which really to focus on. If you're just, you know, getting your toes dipped in the water, to use the metaphor, I might just look at the blueprint version of first-person shooter template and try to look at those blueprints and try to see how the flow of execution goes from pressing an input to something happening on screen, and maybe start a little bit with that. But if you do know CPP, I would not spend too much time on that, just to get your bearings, and I would launch first-person shooter template with C++, because there is a version of that, and look how it is being done on the code side of things. And my personal take is I only do rough and dirty prototypes in Blueprint, but the proper code that I want to optimize and ship, I do it in C++, right? So on the day job, as I said, I mostly deal with C++ code. And if you are really feeling good with C++, maybe you should skip blueprints at the beginning, concentrate on C++, and then you can just, you know, go back to blueprints and see, how designers are using that, right? Then it will be easier for you to follow. Dexterovsky says, if you know how to code, converting blueprints to CPP should be easy for you. Yeah, that's also true. If you look how it is being set up and you know the C++ code and coding in general, it might be easier to decipher. So I would start with first-person shooter tutorial and try to add a actor to it and make it react on being shot by either getting destroyed or changing color or changing scale or whatever. That will kinda clue you into how data from pressing an input flows to the actual thing happening on screen. Yeah, that's what I would start with. I wouldn't start with immediately, oh, let's make my own game, right? No, I would try to first get a little bit of knowing, and then maybe, you know, okay, now I want to start my own game or something. And it's also always a good idea to take a template, break it, and try to fix it again. Sepang Moima says, I see, so Udemy courses are futile as I'm following someone. It really depends on the course. There might be a couple of good ones that are explaining why certain things are being set up in that way, but I wouldn't treat it as end all be all. Maybe as an entry point, like, okay, this is how someone explains how things work. But I might be too scared that those explanations might either be inefficient or that you might learn way more on your own exploration, right? Sometimes they can be a shortcut towards like a specific plugin or a specific component, how to use it. There's this great series on YouTube. I forgot the name of the guy, but basically the video format name is always being called what the fuck is rotating component, for example, right? And in like 4 minutes the guy shows the component, explains how it works, done, right? And you don't have to pay anything for that. I love this guy. Sometimes I go back to some of his clips. Him I would recommend. What was his name? Like, let me quickly check and recommend him. YouTube, Unreal Engine, what the F is, I don't know, rotating component? I don't know if he has, yes, okay, I have him. Where should I click to, like, okay. Yeah, that guy has, I love his style. He just explains in 3 minutes a simple thing, done, right? So oftentimes when I'm trying to find a couple of, you know, quick little snippets, he's my go-to guy. And he has like intro to Unreal Engine 4. It might be a little bit outdated because it's almost 10 years. He deals with like interface. He shows you a couple things about animations, etc. But it is outdated. It is outdated. Yeah. That's how it would go about that stuff. Okay, now let's try to debug why my simple thing is not working. Let me do that, and also maybe I should like let me open up the mixer, and let's maybe make it less loud. J-Punk Moima says, I see. Thank you so much, guys. No problem. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to always ask them on chat in here, or you can join the Discord. We are, you know, sharing things that we are working on right now. Let me quickly find my Discord. Yeah, here it is. Invite people. Yeah, we are sharing plugins, etc. And you can always ask things there. If I'm, you know, able to, you know, access PC, I will always try to help. Dexterovsky says, you can also lower volume in editor when playing editor instead of doing Windows Mixer shit. Really? I wasn't aware of that. How? Wow! That's a game changer for me. Thank you. Thank you, bro. I can go back into here, put it back into 100 to not deal with it anymore. Was it always there? My last 10 years of my life have been a lie. But there's always something like this in Unreal Engine. Okay, I don't want this here. I want to know why. That's fascinating. After crossing over to 180, let's go with the slow-mo of like this. Then it crosses over to... Oh. That is fascinating. I didn't know that it worked like this. No wonder I had a bug. Basically, I didn't know that when you are getting local rotation of something in local space, it doesn't give you from 0 to 360. It gives you from 0 to 180, and then it immediately crosses over into minus 180. So it deals with that instead of 0 to 360. That's a completely another... freaking things. Did you guys know this? I didn't. So it changes things. So it's like 90. But it's still like this should trigger. This thing should trigger, really. This thing I mean, if we are nearly 180, right? Because we are nearly 180. 90, and then... Or maybe we are not. Let me see that. Maybe accidentally we are not. And we are not. Oh my god, so that's how... I wasn't aware. I was thinking that it was measuring... Yeah. Angle from... No, but it should trigger. It's 179. How the hell my branch about current yaw angle being nearly 180 is not triggering? That is interesting. It's not even close. never goes in here. What the fuck? How does that ever trigger again? No, because desired final rotation is 180 and we never crossed that. Oh, that's okay. I need to rebuild it. Now I have the information that when you are getting relative rotation of a component inside of your actor, it will always be measured from 0 to 180, and if it crosses 180, it goes from minus 180 to 0 once again. On the, like, let me quickly visualize it, because that's kind of weird. We have like an object, right? This is our axis, and it measured things. It is the view from the bird's eye view, so-called, right? So I thought that when it was measuring the rotation, for example, of this arrow, it goes like 90 degrees, 180, 270 to 0. But it actually goes 90 degrees, 180 degrees, minus 180 degrees, minus 90. That's how it calculates it, which kind of changes the way I was supposed to do it. And I wasn't aware that it counts like that. I was thinking on 0 360 axis. So yeah, so that will never happen for 180. What the fuck? Oh, I didn't set up that I'm available. On stream, on Discord. Yeah, slow-mo brain. Okay. So it will happen for 90 degrees, but it won't happen. So I gotta change the logic of that. That's kind of fucking funny. Okay. Really? Will the whole stream will be about fixing up the propeller and only on next stream I will get to the auto-targeting? Sometimes this shit happens on the day job. You're thinking, yeah, I will do this like quick 30-minute job. 2 days later, fuck, I cannot fix it. What the hell is wrong with me? And then you learn that engine kind of does something in a different way. So it is kind of bothering me, I'll be honest. So I might do a little fuckery, because I kind of don't want to rebuild all of this thing just to account for that different oh, sorry for making sounds. For a different calculation, because 360 makes sense for me. So what I will do here, a little bit of fuckery, is if this will be less than 0, I will actually take this value, take an absolute of it, which means, you know, let's delete the negative sign in front of it, and add it to 180. So I will get the things the way I want to calculate them, right? But only if it happens below 0, right? So here we will have a select float. Select float is like a little bit of if node, but without branching. So yeah, let's make it the other way around. So if yaw is bigger than 0, it will just straight up take yaw. If not, Then let's do a little bit of fuckery, and that goes in here. And I think that small piece of mathematical fuckery we'll be using everywhere. So might as well create like a quick little pure function called get propeller face rotation local angle, and it will be outputting the float out angle. It will be a pure function, and yeah, this is what will be happening in here. So now I can just use that instead of this whole construct, and yeah, and I have to use it everywhere right now. I didn't know that it was counting like that, but through the little bit of fuckery, I think we kind of fixed it. We'll see if I made error in a little mathematic trick that I did. We'll see. I think it should work. And it went immediately to 360. 90. Or no, I mean it works better, but still, instead of it going to wait a second. Maybe it doesn't understand 180. What? Okay. That is kind of freaking funny. Maybe if I'm setting relative location as 180, it understands it in a weird way as 360. That would be weird. Yeah, it's not even triggering here. It decides, no, it's not that. Because I made another error in my little trick. Okay, I will explain the error. I'm adding 180 degrees to it. But it counts not from 0 here, but minus 179. So I'm suddenly getting to this side of the circle. I'm suddenly getting close to 0. So in all actuality, it should be this. It should be subtract, yes. And it should be 180 minus the thing. Because once it crosses over 180 degrees, it changes into minus 179 degrees. So I was adding 180 to almost 180, boom, almost for Silker. So it was skipping a turn. I don't know if my explanation makes sense, but now it should work. No, it still doesn't. What in the Holy Mother of Spirits? It gets to 179 and it decides that no, I won't be stopping here. It's not even going in here. It's not even going in here. Desired final rotation is 180. And we are also never crossing over. Yeah, I'm supposed to add 180 to it, but first I need to get the little... Oh, okay. So many errors. If I slept longer, I was better at maths, huh? But now it works properly. Jesus, one simple change of the way the angle is being calculated. Okay, and I cannot get from 270. Because it immediately stops. Why? That's interesting point. Okay, it goes through here. Let's follow it more. Goes through here and then goes over to 270. Immediately. Okay, I need to put a breakpoint in here. Oh yeah, that's the error. That's the error. Okay, the error is I'm trying to go from 3/4 of a circle to the full circle, but the way I laid out the script, it thinks that it should stop immediately after crossing over, right? So what I forgot in here, and you shouldn't forget in such situations, is to check, yeah, but do I want to stop here or later? When I reach something more among, when my desired final rotation is not really equal to this thing, right? So yeah, we need to add another logical condition for it to happen. So it will go, for example, we should only check if it is nearly equal 90 if our desired rotation, final rotation angle is 90, right? So if that equals 90 and our rotation angle is near 90, then we're talking. That's what is of interest to us, right? And the same goes for here. If our final rotation that we want to achieve is 180, that's where we should that's what we should actually check if we are near it, and so on and so forth. And that way we should be able to stop it and deal with this propeller. God damn, it's like the third stream does connected to propellers. What the hell? That's kind of freaking funny. And yeah, I think it covers it, or I fucked it up even more. Both are possible. 90 turn works, 180 turn works towards 270, but for some reason it immediately skips to 360. So the last check doesn't work. And can I just... Can I change the volume in here? Volume. Volume. No. But I had it almost at 0. Yeah, and I need to see what is happening in here. Why is it like triggering immediately? Ah, yeah, of course, of course. I'm lacking one final transition that I thought it might not be needed. But if my desired final rotation angle is 360 and I'm nearly equal, actually 0, that's where I want to actually go to 0. Otherwise, do nothing. And I think I fixed this. Jesus fucking Christ, so much bullshit with such a simple thing. Is it always like starting with the maximum value? Can I have it like... Woo! The thing about this play and editor volume is that I think with every play it kinda restarts. I don't know if it is a bug or something, but for sure it is annoying. Yeah, I didn't see the setting for that. I can only turn off this thing. God damn it. Right, but we fixed our propeller. It works exactly as I wanted it to. Now on the visual side of things. Holy shit. Okay, finally we fixed that. I can turn off my debug. Dexterovsky says, yeah, I noticed that as well. It restarts. You fixed your propeller, I fixed my IK. Nice! Oh yeah, fixing power. Fixing power. Nothing gives quite a rush like fixing the problem in your project. Or optimizing something and seeing the performance go up, etc. It is such a rush for me. There's also, I always feel like a little bit of shame, like, oh no, maybe I should have, fixed it sooner or something, and that's how, imposter syndrome kicks in, and everyone feels that, so that's normal. There are some people that are super judgmental about this shit, but fuck that. I'd say. Let's be more embracing, right? And how did you fix your IK? What was the problem? Was it the problem with the spaces? Or something else? Okay, so now what I want to do is add a little ding when we hit it and a little bit out of animation. I will do a little bit of animation first on the timeline every time you hit it, and this will be cool. Node and tick on arrow hit confirmed. Let's add new custom node. Oh no, editor preferences changed. I need to change it. I hate gray comment. Black. All black everything. Hell yeah. And 48. Dexterovsky says, but to be honest, I don't know what the issue was. I redone the location translation in BP and it works. That's how it happens sometimes, I'll be honest. I remember, I think I was in Unreal Dev Fest either in New Orleans or in Prague, I don't remember, but one of my colleagues asked about this type of stuff, right? That you cannot find the reason in code, something is fucked up, and I think the answer was like, yeah, sometimes some blueprint caching issue happens, that where you either restart your machine or restart the editor, or sometimes straight out freaking delete some of the nodes and do them, or recreate the whole actor. Sometimes it fixes the issue because some data in some cases got fucked up and the engine cannot resolve that, right? So that might have been that case, right? It is exact the same. You look at it virtually and practically it is the same, but you know, some compiled cache actually got messed up, right? This shit can happen, unfortunately. All right, now let's create custom event. Play hit. Play arrow hit Q. And first it will be audio, so timeline, add timeline component. Timeline, what the fuck happened? Okay, I want a timeline. How adding timeline component works now? It used to be that I just type in timeline. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay, that's what I wanted. Timeline components, I'll be honest, I only use for prototypes because they are not very optimized, right? And people tend to abuse it in such way that you have an actor that does really simple things but has 6 timelines because it is so easy to animate with them, right? So I do it only for prototype purposes because I can just click it, then, you know, work on it and that's it. Instead, I think maybe creating like a proper animation is way simpler, but for the prototype, that's alright. Play cues, and let's open up the timeline, right? Let's add a track, add float track. I will do it with one, and it will be quick, like 1 second animation, and I don't know, let's do it like this. And what value? Maybe like a scale of 1.5. What the hell? Okay, and let's add B here. And here also 1.5. But let's maybe how do you change those? Oh yeah, I don't want this to be linear. Let's make it auto. Yeah, so it will be easy in nicely. With an animation. Yeah, one of those days I need to sit down and maybe figure out animating inside of the Unreal Engine. I know that they said that it's basically doable and they animated everything for Fortnite Lego with that, so I want to sit down so maybe I could make quick prototype animations inside of the engine instead of using timeline components. Dexterovsky says, I am not using timelines at all. I assume they are expensive as hell in use. Yeah, they are. They kinda are. I wouldn't use them at all in shipping code. I only use them like right now as a shortcut, right? But maybe that's something to explore for the future. Like, okay, let's actually go and create the proper animation inside of the Unreal and hook it up, right? Yeah, let's also name this track. How can I? Okay, I have to go like this. Hit reaction anim. Yeah, I want to just play on scale. It's that simple. So hit target, set scale, set relative scale 3D. On each update, it's just creates a vector out of it, and it should create like nice bouncy animation. I don't know, I'm not an animator, but it does absolutely fucking nothing. And that's because I don't call play arrow hit Q, right? I don't play arrow hit Q. At the end of everything, just do that. Now it should work. Yeah, you can tell I'm not an animator. That's supposed to be 1, that's supposed to be 1, and that's supposed to be also 1. Hello? Okay. I want this to be perfectly... Oh, maybe not perfectly. I don't give a fuck. If we are talking about animations, if you want to animate player or something, check out software called Cascadeur. Okay, let me quickly copy the name of it to my notes. Cascadeur. I bought the perpetual license. Oh, nice that they have perpetual license. For $100. It is AI powered tool, but in the way the software should be powered with AI to help artists, not replace them. Ah, okay. Let's quickly Google it for everyone and look at it. And Cascadeur. Oh, I see the Wukong in here. Rig your models easily. Okay, Unreal Engine, etc. Make any animation editable. Animation unbaking turns any bake animation where each frame is keyframe into an editable one. Easy to pose with AI. Ah, okay. Okay, so it kinda already like help you working with curves, so you don't have to spend an eternity hand keyframing curves and making smooth gestures. It kinda automatically works your way up, so you only need to work on posing. Do I assume correctly? That's awesome, because that's always been a bitch. And turning videos into animation. You just need to have this kind of suit, which probably is not that hard, you know, to get or something. Copy paste retargeting. Yeah, you just, Dexterovsky, you just intrigued me a whole lot, but tell me, oh, they are from Cyprus. Oh, okay. Europe. Go Europe. Awesome. Get plans. Dexterovsky says, this helps you pose. You're making pose and software just do everything between for you. That's awesome. There's a tutorial where lady makes a backflip animation from reference within 15 minutes. That's awesome. Does it also work with non-humans? Like animals or some other fucked up cartoony object? Free. Indie. Pro. Turns into perpetual. $33, and after a year. Wow. Wow, okay, okay. That's really nice. Thank you for showing me that. I wonder how it will work with like first person animations. Like, wow, now I want to make a whole stream exploring that, and maybe I will in the future. Dexterovsky says, I guess it works, but you must rig it. Okay, okay. So first you have to rig it by hand. If you have like some weird creature that has never been done, right? And then it might smooth it out. I guess it still probably would help a ton. That's nice. And it never restarts. And the question is why? Because I should probably put it as play from start. And also I want to kinda shorten it. It should be way quicker. Yeah, yeah. These are small things, but you know, important. So let's cut that in half. Right. And 1.5. And it is now half a second long. And yeah, because it should be like boing and you know. Yeah, perfectly cartoony. You understand what is happening. The volume is fucking killing me. So I might go to Windows Mixer, which, you know, kinda sucks that I have to go into here, but whatever. Dexterovsky says, yeah, I tried to find it if it actually worked for FPP animations, but I guess it will not. Ah, that sucks. But still, you can animate enemies, right, in the game. I can actually share what animations I made in it. Yeah, please do. If you drop links in Discord right now, I will also show it to, you know, folks, if you don't mind. Okay, now to quickly mock up a sound for that, like, pew. Maybe I will just launch FL Studio and quickly freaking do it in there, because I could, like, you know, do I could quickly do meta sound, or maybe I shouldn't, or I should. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's do meta sound, maybe, actually. Dexterovsky, putting on of silencer from, let me show you. Dexterovsky shared an animation of putting on and off silencer from a weapon, and he actually made it on stream. That's great. Let's show it to people. Okay, let's grab the window, go here, full screen. It is done with the Cascadeur. Ah, yeah, that is quite nice. That is quite nice. That's all right. Nice. I like it. I like it. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. If you can bang it out that quickly and it's already, like, you know, working and shit, that's great. Yeah, one of these days I need to download some, like, big ass library of sounds just to cue them in. But the most important thing, Chapang Moima says, cool stuff, bro. You guys motivate me. Huh? Yeah, it's all about motivation, man. I'm glad that you're liking what we are, you know, talking about and sharing in here. Yeah. So now I can delete those propellers from here and actually, you know, put my new propeller that is working way more gamey, I would say, and not frustrating at all. At least I hope so. Shit, it might turn out that it is frustrating, but we'll see. Let's put it here. Is it like perfectly 90 degrees? It is. So now I can go like this, and after 2 shoots, it should like align. Where the hell is World Gizmo? It should like align with that. Let me move it over here. Maybe let's keep it that way. I also want to add a little bit animation in here, so I will do it in a second, because it seems like it will be funny as hell to see like this whole thing, this whole that part that spits the bubbles with flames, if it will also be like cartoonishly resizing. Yeah, so that one will be rotated like this, that one will be rotated like this, so it only need one shot, and you won't need to rotate that one at all. I want this to be easily easily accessible, right? All right, let's try it out. If right now maybe this whole segment became a little bit more playable, I need to write a quick tool for, hey, move my player start exactly here. Maybe on the next stream I will do it. What the hell is... Ah, yeah, I turned off my server. I forgot that I hooked it up. Yeah, I will reconcile the differences later. Okay, so now I can just shoot that one. And it works. Now I can just shoot. And it works. It will always spew those. Yep. And how about that? And it works! Actually a playable segment. And I can anticipate how it will rotate and everything. Nice, nice. In the game, I will probably introduce those wind propellers way earlier, and it will be used just for simple, like, I don't know, it will push something to something and it will unlock the door to teach the player mechanic, then 3 variations of it. So by the time the player will encounter this little puzzle to collect those golden stars that are not looking like stars, the player will exactly know what is going on. Shapeang Moima asks, curious, how do you guys manage projects? Is it a tool like Jira use, or what do you use for your own projects? At the day job, Jira, yeah, because we are managing a lot of people, right? But for my own, I used to use Trello, and I like Trello, depending on the moment of the project. Right now, I'm in the middle of like Toyboxing. I'm creating prototypes, throwing them in, and see if I can achieve some satisfying gameplay with it. If I do, then that's great, and it's a little bit less structure. But once I will, so I only, use like a notepad and write down ideas and then try to implement them. But once I will be sitting down to it, I will either use Trello or, I'm not sure what else I could use. Yeah, I think I might just straight up use Trello, and that's kind of, I don't think for this, solo game, right? I'm not sure if I would need anything more. But yeah, at the day job, Jira. Dexterovsky also answers you that he's using Trello. Oh, you see? I remember that I tried a couple of other things, but most of them felt way overcomplicated for my needs. And at some point, they started to feel more like instead of spending time developing something and keeping the track of management, I was wasting more time with dealing with the given software, right? So yeah, Trello. On the day job, Jira, also for keeping the bug list of bugs to fix, etc. I wonder if I would be using Trello for bugs as well. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'm not sure if I will. When I will get to that point, when I'll be like, okay, I got the prototypes, I created a level that can be played for like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. And my folks that promised me that they will, visit me here on stream and will play it and give me harsh feedback. If it will go through them and I will be sitting down to actually making this game, for sure I will be streaming the management part of it and the errors that I will make as well. I want to stream it because I think this is also an important part, right? It might happen in the far future, but it will be happening here. J-Punk Moimasens says, I see, thanks guys. Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, so maybe let's quickly add this little funny animation to our fire bubble spawner. And probably we need to add it to bubble spawner, which works in a very simple way. But also let's use a timeline as a quick freaking shortcut. Play from start, right? It will be also half a second long. Float track, yeah, add key on the 0. Add key here. Add key in the middle. Yeah, add key to the end. And add key here. Wait, did I? Yeah, I don't need that key. Okay, here we will go to 1.5, but this is actually 1. This is also 1, and this is also the value of 1. Yeah, I need the key here, and it will be, yeah, the exact same animation. That's why I'm right now thinking, well, I need to take time on learning how to create animations, simple animations within the engine, because let me quickly grab my throat. It's not medicine, but it's helping with the sore throat. Yeah, because right now I could just reuse those animations instead I'm making another timeline component, etc, etc. So I need to do this kind of thing, right? Let's name this shit. And which object do I really want to only animate the cone. So let's take the cone, set relative scale 3D, of course, blah blah, and it should create a funny effect of when spawning, just a little bit of, more visual cue. Yeah, it's making me laugh, and that's what I wanted to do. I also think, that's the idea, because those animations from afar are not that visible. Or maybe they are. Yeah, because I was thinking that maybe I should have like another multiplier scalar that if this thing is way too far for me to observe the animation, I would actually scale it a little bit more, so it is still observable from afar that it reacts, but I'm not sure if it will look good. But finally, I feel some satisfaction from this little puzzle. So, yeah. Also, I'm not sure if I showed it off to you, Shaping Moima, but I have this little funny movement mode where I'm basically a golf ball, or I'm launching myself from bow. Pew! I can try to reach that. Whee! Oh, I overshot it. Shit! Yeah, I created this prototype of me launching myself from my own bow. And it is so freaking funny that I'm leaning into like doing this. That's why I was thinking about making a main character a sentient golf ball, but I think golf ball launching in the air isn't as funny as a human launching itself in that way. Whee! And flying that way, or some other humanoid character, right? That is funny. When he flies like that with this stupid pose like that, and I kind of want to lean into silliness with that whole game. J-Punk Moima says, "Wowza, that's cool." Yeah, it is very funny, right? It is ridiculous. Yeah, so I'm leaning into that. I'm leaning into that hard. But okay, yeah, I got that animation. I could work on like sound cues for a little bit, but I'm kind of wanted to do a little bit of auto targeting because this game is aimed to be a little bit more casual. So yeah, it is a little bit more casual. So I wanted to add a little bit of auto targeting, right? So for example, let's say, let's get back to the paint. What the hell? What the hell? What the? Something weird is going on. Okay. J-Punk Moima says, would be cool as a slime character. Yeah, a slimy thing. Yeah. Could be funny. Leksterovsky says, so making animation flying mid-air should be easy for you now. That's true. With the software you provided, which is the name of Cascadeur. I will try to remember that. Cascadeur, it should be a little bit easier. So, what I wanted to say, yeah. Let's say we are aiming, here's our gun that is actually a bow, but let's pretend it's a gun, right? And this is like a first-person perspective view, right? And for example, we see that this bubble with flames is flying through the air, and we are playing on a controller, right? And it is quite far. I was thinking that maybe we could have, you know, like the auto-targeting mode, which you wouldn't be engaging with the close targets, right? Too much. But once the bubble, you will manage to keep the bubble inside of the circle for like, I don't know, a second and a half, 2 seconds. It will allow you to shoot the arrow that will be kind of auto-targeting. If it is, you know, if you keep that bubble inside of this aiming big reticle for required amount of time, and if the bubble is not at too far distance, right? And I thought that maybe it could like start, you know, creating this circle around it to indicate you how close you are to locking in on the target. I don't know. I wanted to do the HUD-less design, but for such thing, I don't know how to do it without the HUD. And it might be leaning into more casual approach, but on the other hand, I could concentrate more on the logic side of things, and it still requires you to be a little but it still would be a little bit of aiming challenge, but not as in, hey, I need to be a sniper, but more like, okay, let me lock in with the gamepad, sitting far away on the couch, and I'm locked in, I can just press it, right? Because I'm going for a more silly and chill vibes with this game, probably, I don't know. And it would be mostly helpful for super far away targets at like 150 meters that are small and they are constantly moving, right? You probably won't be engaging with it on the stationary targets, and I might do it so they... so you cannot use it on stationary targets, only at movable targets that can be interacted with, right? And only at a certain distance. Over that distance, you cannot lock in, right? So this locking in mechanic and auto-targeting. I don't know if it will be fun. It might be too much on the casual side. It might destroy the whole challenge of the whole thing. I'm not sure. I just wanted to try it. Yeah, that's basically it. I wanted to create another toy, throw it in the toy box, and see if it is cool, right? But right now I had a different thought that, well, I was supposed to create toys for the level to play around with, not more arrows or aiming types, because that is easy to come up with. Things to interact with on level via arrow, that's a different thing. Not sure how to proceed, but yeah, maybe let's try it. I still have like 22 minutes left. We can start by at least creating like an interface and trying to aim for that thing, right? So blueprints, and we have we have some procedural content generation here. Grid spawn actors. Ah, okay. Arrows. Yeah, let's call it aim assist. Or maybe no, that's the wrong name for it. Target locking. And let's create the blueprint interface for it. BPI. Lockable target. Everything that could be, that you could lock on, should have this interface. If it doesn't have this interface, no one cares about it. Should it have any functions? Not really. I'm only really using it as a differentiation between objects that you're looking at. It also unfortunately means that you'll be constantly tracing in front of you with this sphere trace for trying to find this target. 150 meters in front of you. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this idea, because if I will have like 100 things in front of me, I will be tracing all of them. So I should probably also work with the physics end of things, like adding new object type and how it will respond to the collision, etc. Right? That's something to consider on the optimization side of things, so I won't be constantly tracing with everything. Okay, there are a couple of questions of how to implement that. First, how to find the target. Then we need to project. Let me maybe write it down. First, trace for target. Then we need to create a projection of such target on screen. Then we need to do the circle check. Are we inside of the circle or not? The aiming circle. So circle check. Then, we are updating locking time. Locking time check. Whether we are able to track by hand the target, locking time update, and then either lock or we are unlocking, because you can always move the reticle away from it and unlocking. Perfect E and perfect G. What the fuck? I cannot write today. Unlocking. Yeah, so that's one of the questions we need to ask ourselves. When we are moving our silk away from it, it might be actually way harder than I anticipated. Because, let's think about this, guys. Let's say we are tracing one target and the other one enters our way, right? And both of them oh my god, that's what I want. We have our another target that can also enter it. Which one are we tracking actually? That's the question that I haven't actually thought through. How to make sure that, apart from design of the puzzle, that no, there will always be only one trackable target that you need to hit. But that's kind of impossible, because if the game is about hitting targets, you need to have multiple of those, right? Right now I'm just doing a quick thinking analysis, thinking aloud, asking myself questions whether this whole freaking thing is viable even on paper. Maybe I'm overreacting with this locking thingy. Maybe I shouldn't implement it at all. So it's better sometimes to have a like 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with yourself or with your body or whatever, and throwing away the whole idea if it doesn't sound logically sound even on paper, so to speak, then spend like 2 days implementing it to realize, oh no, it fucking sucks and it cannot be made to not suck, right? So sometimes it is super important to do like a live brainstorming session, even with yourself, talking aloud. So in order for that to work, you would need to have like a very clear set of rules about how your locking reticle picks targets. Will it be able to switch to a new target immediately if it crosses your line, or it prefers the old target that you were locking onto and it won't allow anything else, so you have to move your hand, move your aim away and refocus it. I need to think this through. Turning cog, hey! The graphics of these games are stunning. Can you believe that? And it's running 120 FPS, 4K. 2K to be... No, 4K, look! More than 4K, huh? What do you think about that? That's the power of the Unreal Engine. And you don't need to have RTX to run it. So, you know, that's the best game ever. Yeah, the more I think about this idea of like locking, the more I think it will be super hard to create non-annoying mechanics for player. Like right now I'm imagining myself trying to, for example, oh yeah, those are those bubbles. I'm trying to lock on them so I will hit the auto target, right? And another one comes in, and another one comes in, and another one comes in. And which one I will be locked onto, and when I start to move my reticle towards the group of them, which one will be actually important, which one will not? I don't think I can come up with those rules on the spot so they won't be extremely annoying. Yeah, and you just only need 3 objects inside of the circle to try to, inside of the aiming circle, to realize that, holy shit, how can I come up with the idea that won't be annoying and will actually be a tool for the player to tell the game which one of these guys is actually important for them, right? Do you implement, like in the old PS2, like in GTA San Andreas on PS2, that with bumpers you are jumping between targets? That's kinda not the way I would want it to go. No, I need to give it more thought when it comes to this locking, because it sounds like a bad design that will be extremely annoying. I will have some form of aim assist and, or should I say rather, bullet magnetism. But why just not to do the nearest to the crosser? Dexterovsky asks. And Turning Cock says, tab or bumper targeting can be nice sometimes, but most the time it felt bad. Yeah, it felt bad. Why just not do the nearest to the crosshair? Because, at least from my experience, playing on the gamepad and trying to track something in the middle of a crosshair might be super hard, and I think quickly the situation will appear where I'm barely targeting with my giant circle something that I want to target, and suddenly I accidentally something spawns that is in the middle of a crosshair, and it will lock on that instead of what I was tracking. So I would have to create a rule set of like, okay, if I was tracking something for a long time, that's something that I want to, you know, score highly as a target that I'm still locking into. If something shows up on a crosshair, I need to check what I have been targeting longer, what is the distance to it. But in the end, as a player, I wouldn't be able to be like, hey, I actually want to lock onto the new thing that showed up, right? It's better for me. Like, those kind of rule sets I remember from a couple of console games that I played that can be extremely annoying. And also, I remember my experience implementing some weak spot aim assist in Evil West, and those were similar questions that we had there, and it was, every iteration that we made I think was annoying, so I think we abandoned the whole idea, or I quit after and then they did something, I don't remember exactly. Turning Cog says, zoom in with your human eyes. Ah, that's a nice idea. Dexterovsky says, I have an idea. Just do the same what level designer for Tomb Raider 4 Remastered did. Oh, what they did? I'm interested. Maybe, you know, that's something that I should just, you know, look at it. He told the players to adjust the brightness of their monitors to levels not be dark. So you can tell the player to use the magnifier or sit closer to the monitor, and voila. Perfect. Ah, nothing screams like Reddit or Twitter shitstorm like that. I think you guys are into something. Human zoom in the eyes and then adjusting the brightness of the monitors. And then we can use the magnifier glass. Yeah, I think we'll not do the locking on. I was trying to be casual, but instead I would create a frustrating piece of shit. Rules that no one would understand. And now it's understandable. Aim at something and shoot at it. Voila! You know everything that you need to know. A little bit of bullet magnetism for consoles that, okay, if your crosshair was a little bit off of it, we're treating it as if you hit that shit, right? And we'll be fine. We'll be completely fine. And we can unlock this thing. Okay. I might want to increase the speed on my thingy, which is my propeller. Yeah, let's do it like 200 degrees per second, and this is just like a quick fine-tune, but yeah, now it feels a little bit better. Alright, so I think via our chat we quickly established of what not to do, and I have, yeah, like only a couple of minutes of stream left today. So yeah, I'm not sure if I will be able to quickly bang out like a meta sound to indicate that you hit this thing. Maybe I will. We'll see. Turning Cog says, one of the guys was talking about thread pools the other day, and it seemed like time-based target priority would also fall into that complicated kind of calls. There better be other stuff to support it or it will feel bad. Yeah, that's 100% true. Like, while talking about it right now live, I realized that probably that would have to be a biggest system with lots of complicated rules just to make sure that it is not too annoying, and it would probably take a lot of time, way more time than it is actually worth it. I think if something will be too hard to hit on a console, it would be better to just increase the bullet magnetism a little bit, so we will grant the shots that on PC would not be acceptable, and maybe move the targets a little bit closer and would achieve the same effect of like, hey, it is now a little bit easier. There was like an idea of, hey, at least you are tracing the target and maybe it is a little bit cool gameplay. But you know what would be cooler gameplay? Putting a building that will explode after you shoot it, right? So that might be a little bit better when it comes to like production time consumption, that coming up with that, especially as this is not supposed to be a game that is about shooting enemies. So there might be like 3 or 4 enemies, but nothing too complicated, like, I don't know, Resident Evil or something like that, or Halo or what have you, right? So it feels like a giant time sink, time-based target priorities, thread pools, etc. for shooting a fucking bubble with a bow and arrow. Yeah, let's discard that completely. Which reminds me of an anecdote from a friend that they had like an intern in their coding company. It was like a bank or something, and they gave him a first task. He was supposed to like copy some data, right? And it was a one-time occurrence only. And they thought that he would just do it by hand because it was like, I don't know, something super simple from what he told me, right? That, okay, you just click a couple of, you know, fields, copy them over, submit it, done, right? 15 minutes at masks. And after a week, they were like, is it done? No, I'm finishing. And they were like, what the fuck is taking so long? And he was like, yeah, I'm finishing the script that will do it for me. And they were like, facepalm so hard. Those were like 12 fields to copy. And you will never do it again. It was just a one-time thing, right? So, but on the other hand, there's never some something like one-time thing in game development, maybe in banking, but in game development, no. Okay, so will I be able to bang out quick meta sound? Okay, so target locking and its whole blueprint interface goes to the Oblivion, which is the exact same place where the Polish positive thinking is, which is not existent as we established earlier, together with Dexterowski. Delete folder, target locking. Yeah, delete it. Yeah, sure. Where was I? Yeah, I wanted to go to propeller, which is wind related. Yep. Let's try to where? Audio. Meta sound. MS propeller hit sound. I don't know. Let's quickly come up with something. Hey, maybe there is like something already. No. Wavetable. No, I don't want a wavetable. Play wave player. We have some tones. There are some sounds that maybe we can use. Explosion, that's the sound to play when you hit the freaking thing.
In this next step, we'll do some interesting stuff.
Okay. Oh, possessed player. Yeah, fucking amazing. And if that's the case, I don't even need a meta sound. I can just take the possessed player. Where the hell is it? It is here. And just play sound at location. No, I want to play sound 2D actually. I want the player to hear that he did something awesome, and that's the thing. And let's delete that meta sound because we don't need it. And yeah, we have some audio feedback, but that's the wrong note to play because it will be playing all the freaking time. So yeah, let's put it in here and play from start, of course. Yeah. Great. I'm a little bit funny like that. Let's just pitch multiplier it by 2 so it will be a little bit higher. I don't know if it's supposed to be a 2D sound or not. Turning Cock says, so what are you trying to do today? Is this based on a few games you like? Not really. It's I'm making a game here, or a prototype of a game, that is kind of like a design challenge, because I want to, on a day-to-day basis, I work mostly with code, and I wanted to learn more about, you know, how to come up with those design ideas, how to put them together, how to, you know, try to create a sequence of things, come up with the toys, etc., etc. I don't have any experience with that, so I wanted to stretch my muscles a little bit. I'm creating a game when you're supposed to change the state of the world and interact with everything via arrows. Kind of like if you think about, like, I don't know, Mario or Donkey Kong, they change the state of the world via jumping on things, right? Mostly. And I was thinking, I wonder if I could take the approach of like, yeah, my arrow changes things in the world, where I could go with that idea, right? And it landed me on the game that will be more on the puzzle side of things, maybe co-op, not a fast-paced first-person shooter or anything like that. And today I was, coming back to the project because I migrated it to 5.6 of Unreal Engine and fixing some old idea that I have had that, okay, I have some wooden vines that can be burned, I have something that spawns bubbles with flames, and I have like a wind propeller, and I expect the player to like be like, oh, okay, I need to get the star that is locked behind those vines, so let me shoot at the propeller so it will actually spawn those fire bubbles so I can burst them, turn everything into flaming thingies, and it will unlock the possibility. I need to really adjust the speed of flaming, and I can collect the star, right? Because I thought that maybe in this game you would be collecting stars a little bit via arrows, of course, right? Everything you do is via arrows. You even traverse via arrows. Yay! Like that. You launch yourself from a bow, right? I wonder if I can get back to it. Whee! And I overshot it. That needs some work, right? But yeah, I was fixing my old prototype of a propeller because I had like 3 or 4 of those. None of them felt satisfying. This is the first satisfying prototype. And yeah, I'm finishing the stream soon. So I think that's all that I was able to accomplish today. But yeah, I'm glad that I put the propeller thingy into such state that I'm quite satisfied with it. And I thought that maybe I would be, working on this lock-on mechanics, but thanks to quick, brainstorm with y'all, it's way overkill. And also, yeah, there's like flaming beds there, right? And bubbles with water. You can burst them and put out the flames. So, an example, let me quickly get in here. Play from here. If you have like the flaming everything, you can just create your own path, your own labyrinth. Through the whole thing, right? Everything is on placeholder assets, of course. And you can navigate towards the end. So I'm like putting together lots of toys into my toy box, and I'm trying to see how fun it would be to, play with them, create sequences. And yeah, if I can pace things around with them, etc., etc. And I feel like with this bubbles that are containing flames of water, things that are spawning them, burn flammable things, and propellers with wind that are pushing the bubbles around, I think I could achieve a couple of forms of gameplay, like this, for example, right? So on the next stream, I will probably be on the next Sunday getting back to this project and to this game, and I will be trying to either put those things in a different arrangement and trying to see if they are cool, or maybe implementing another toy to interact with inside of the level, right? We'll see. So that was it for today. It was nice to come back to actual video game making after 3 months of mostly either checking the plugins or not streaming due to Dev Marchy June and May. So yeah, it was nice to come back to it. Chaypunk Moima asks, you stream on Sundays? Yeah, I usually stream on Sundays. If I'm not able to stream, I leave the message, of course, on the Discord. Like, for example, in June and May, they were a little bit Dev Marchy for personal reasons. Couldn't really, schedule the time of it. For it. But yeah, I stream on Sundays. That is the time slot that I was able to do the most. Okay. I think that's it for me. Dexterovsky says, okay, thank you for the stream. Have a nice rest of the day. And you have a nice rest of the day too. All of you, I wish you have a great day, the rest of the day, and a great week ahead of you. And I hope to see you around on next Sunday. As we said, Turning Cock says, catch you later, friend. Yeah, catch you later. More of that awesome paint graphics incoming. Guaranteed. Okay, bye-bye, guys.